here, since the beginning as far as the runs you guys have had. I guess how would you compare the group you guys have had now the last couple of years to maybe the younger group that you guys, went to the final in 15 and had to kind of go through some of those kind of growing pains?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of the same guys in the group, but it's just, at different times, different periods in our careers. I think the first time there was definitely a lot of excitement, never being in that situation before. Last year, it seemed like kind of a relief because we had been there a couple of times, a couple Eastern Conference Game 7s that we weren't able to get the job done. And this year it seems like guys are just as hungry or if not more hungry than we were last year. And I know it's cliche to say that, when you win one, you want to win another one, but it's really true. And we've put so much into this team and into this season. But there's still an excitement for sure in this group.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Yeah, this is actually for both of you guys. Ryan, as a defenseman, can you just describe the impact it has on your game knowing Andrei Vasilevskiy is behind you? And Alex, similarly along those lines, just the impact that Vasilevskiy does have on this team. He's the starting goaltender. Starting goaltenders have big impacts. We know that. But because it's him and the way he's played for you guys for so long, does it feel a little bit different? Thanks.
I think with a guy like Vasi, you try and make the game as easy as you can on him. I mean, obviously, he can make those dramatic, flashy saves, and athletic saves and desperation saves. But we obviously don't want to, force him or have to have him make those as often. So we try and make the game easy on him, let him see the puck. We feel if he can see the puck, should be able to save him and at least control where he wants to put it as far as rebounds. And so whether we, make sure we clear the front of the net for him and allow him to see him, we like our chances like that. So, and if we need to block a shot, we got to do that too. And he's very appreciative of that. So I think we try to make the game easy on him and, he goes from there.
Yeah, I think he gives us a huge amount of confidence. And I think it's similar to the goalie on the other side. When you need a big save, when you need saves in certain moments, that could be momentum changers. It seems like he's always there. But like Max said, we want to do as best as we can to make sure the load is as easy as possible on him, which is very difficult, obviously, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But he's been great for us. And, whenever you look at his stats and you look at how he's played after losses, it's really impressive. So
go ahead, Ed, if you have a question. Okay, you're still on mute. We'll go to Mary.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
Sorry, we froze there. Sorry. Alex, you talk about the hunger that you guys, have had this year in terms of getting back to this point. You guys obviously had a bullseye on your back, being reigning Stanley Cup champions. Was this path different or is it more difficult than maybe last year in terms of getting back to this point because you did have that bullseye and you knew you were getting everyone's best game?
I don't know if it was more difficult. Once you get to the playoffs, I mean, I think in the season it's more difficult because every time you go to a city, the Stanley Cup champion's coming, so that team seems to prepare pretty good. I think in playoffs, everyone wants to win so bad that, every team's got a target on their back. So I don't think it's much different in that sense.
Steve Wino, Associated Press.
Hey, Alex, I wonder if you can think back to that 2015 run that you guys had and what it felt like to be one of the kind of the younger teams getting here like Montreal is for the first time and how much you guys have grown from that and kind of how has the experience helped and how was being kind of a young team back then who hadn't really been there before? Like, what was the kind of fresh feeling like that like?
No, it was great. It's exciting. I think similar to Montreal, I don't think many people had us picked that year to go to the Cup Finals. I think we had a lot of young guys. You think about, Cooch, I think might have been in his first or second season. But, the group, you learn a lot through those moments. And I think there's a lot of excitement when you first get to do it. But for us now, we've been in a lot of these series. We've lost, we've won in Game 7s in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think it's just going through that, you learn a ton. You learn how in series, you got to be even keel. You got to realize that things aren't always going to go your way. You might get a bad call. This might happen, that might happen. But in the end, it's a 7-game series. So you have to be able to withstand all of that. And I think the older you get, you might have just more experience in those aspects.
Mary Fiello, Tampa Bay Times.
Hey, Ryan, when you look at a guy like Mikhail, I mean, what can you say just about how far he's come defensively? He had 5 block shots in Game 7, and it just seems like every postseason, every season for that matter, he just finds a way to elevate his game and grow as a player.
I thought Game 7 was one of the best games I've seen him since I've been a part of his team. And just from an inspirational standpoint, like you talked about, the importance of blocking a shot, that last second one with 5 or 10 seconds left was incredible. His willingness to take a hit to make a play that doesn't go unnoticed. Just his constant, threat out there with his skating ability, getting up the ice, and his threat to shoot the puck. He's unselfish too when he needs to make a pass and make a play, and that's there, he can make it. But I think just the more he's grown as a player, the more confidence he's gotten to, as far as just understanding what little plays might make the difference in the outcome. And he's taken a lot of pride in that. And like you talked about, shot blocking and taking hits that might not have been in his game, his first or second year. But this team and the leaders and coaching staff have done a great job to implement that in his game. And he's definitely been a huge part of why we've had some great runs these last couple of years.
Tom Galletti, NHL.com.
Alex, last year, obviously, Steven Stamkos had a pretty memorable but brief on-ice impact for you guys. What does it mean to just have him with you guys healthy and start in the Stanley Cup final and just involved fully, I guess?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think is this the captain of our team, right? So to have him not only on the ice but in the locker room, around the guys throughout the whole process has been really helpful. And not to mention on the ice, he's been great. He gives our power play obviously a different look when he's on it, and the PK has to adjust and plays differently when he's on it just because of how dangerous he is with his one-timer. So, and 5-on-5, he's been spectacular, great on the face-off circle. So there's a lot of things he does, but also in the room, he's a huge aspect of our team, obviously.
Chris Johnson, Sportsnet.
Hey, Alex, I'm wondering what kind of interactions you've had these last couple of days with friends and family back home now that you're going to be playing a Stanley Cup final in your hometown.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of them have reached out to me and wished me luck. I know. Listen, I understand how important this is to the city of Montreal. I grew up there. I grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan. I'm happy for, the city been locked down and curfews, and for them to get this, and it's exciting for sure. But they really haven't told me much. I think they're still waiting. Maybe I'll give them a ticket or two. So they haven't really told me who they're rooting for. But they've been pretty good to me and pretty supportive so far.
We have time for 2 more questions. Guillaume Lefrancois, La Presse.
Hi guys, my question is for Ryan. This is I believe your 3rd Stanley Cup Finals. It seems like you've been in the Final Four every other year or so. Patrick Maroon is going for his 3rd straight cup. Are these things just coincidence, or is there such a thing like players who sort of draw success wherever they go?
I'd like to think they're not a coincidence. I mean, just speaking about Patty Maroon, he's got a savviness that he brings with him into the locker room, and it rubs off to guys and brings a certain level of confidence, not over the top, but just enough to know that, if you do the right things, you play to your team structure, you have a chance to win every night. And he keeps that group, or our group, pulling in the same direction. And so, as far as leadership goes, that's what you want. That's what I try to be. That's what Killorn tries to be. And Patty, all of us that have been around the league a long time and played in playoff series, you got to get everybody into the fight and pulling in the same direction. And so we all do a great job of stepping up in different moments in playoff series and game to game, of getting our group with the right mindset to go out and play.
Last question, Martin McGuire, 107.7.
Question for Alex. Are you comfortable, Alex, in French? Are you okay?
You could ask in French. I haven't spoken it in like 3 years, so
Okay.
I could answer in English, but you could ask in French if you like.
Okay, no problem. Alex, you're going to face an opponent who shut down the top six of three teams: Toronto, Vegas, and Winnipeg. What will be the approach against Montreal? Do you consider that number on your opponent's side?
Listen, I think they've done a great job shutting down those lines, but I think that's where you have to rely on your depth. You can't rely on one line, and I think that's why us as a team, we've been successful. We have 4 lines that can go, 4 lines that can score. In a playoff series, it's inevitable that the opposing team's going to have a great game or a great couple games where maybe they shut down our top line, but that's when you have to rely on the depth, and hopefully we can do that.